Welcome back to another episode of Power Moves, the podcast where strategy meets soul and the next generation of leaders learn how to build success with intention. I'm your host, Sashet McPherson, and today we are diving into a conversation that every ambitious professional needs to hear. If you have ever felt torn between paychecks and your purpose, between what looks good and what feels right, this episode is for you. Today, we are joined by a titan in the world of organizational transformation, a leader who doesn't just teach change, he architects it. A scholar with over 30 academic publications and a legacy of shaping systems from the inside out. Author, former chief editor of the OD Journal, founder of the Nexus for Change, a global network uniting 8,000 change markers around purpose-driven work. He is the founding director of the doctoral program in organization development and change at Bowling Green State University. And if you have ever learned anything about collaborative leadership or organizational behavior, there's a high chance his fingerprints are on it. But beyond the titles and the accolades, this is a man who leads with heart. A man building a world where work is rooted into purpose, not ego. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no other than Dr. Stephen Harold Cady. Welcome.
Thanks.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for saying my middle name. That's my grandfather. So,
Dr. Cady, welcome to Power Moves.
Thank you.
You are someone who has spent your entire career helping organizations ask the deeper question. So let's start there.
Sure.
What does purpose-driven work mean to you?
Good question. So we'll start with a scenario. So imagine there's two buildings, and you know what I-beams are in construction? They're metal, big metal that look like an eye when you look down them. Take a beam, and I go to these two towers. Imagine they're the twin towers, really high, 100 and something stories. I put a beam across the first floor.
Yeah.
For fun, would you cross the beam? The first floor, for fun.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I go up 50 stories.
Mm-hmm.
Would you cross the beam at 50 stories?
No.
Okay. I'll give you $50,000.
Oh my God. I don't think I...
100,000. Would you cross it for 100,000?
Maybe.
How about 500,000?
I would probably consider it.
Yeah. How about $1 million?
Oh, definitely.
You do it, right?
Yeah.
You cross it, right?
Yeah.
Well, I go up 100 stories,
Mm-hmm.
tall building.
Mm-hmm.
Buildings are sitting there, and they're, because, buildings, if they don't sway, they break.
Yeah.
That's why coconut trees are always there on islands with big storms, because they sway. And do you know how much they sway by?
No.
20, 30 feet?
Mm.
Some 15 to 30 feet. They're swaying.
Yeah.
So we go all the way to the top. I put an I-beam across the top. It's up there. You're up there. Would you cross it up there? No safety equipment.
No.
For $1 million?
No.
10 million? That's hard,
It's hard.
right? Yeah, but you wouldn't. Is there a child in the world that you love?
Yes.
Can you see that? Who's that child?
My little sister,
And so, what's her name?
Aisha.
Aisha. Pretty name.
Yeah.
You're on one building. You're at the top.
Yes.
Aisha's a little girl, just child, just really young, or at her youngest. She's crawling around on the other side of that building around the I-beam. Would you cross that I-beam to save her?
Oh, definitely.
People who know their purpose know it without a doubt what they would cross that I-beam for.
Wow.
Right? And you had no problem saying, yes, I'm going.
Yeah.
Right? So what does purpose driven means? Purpose is this inner knowing of, I want to do that. The other piece around purpose that's really important is it's rooted in, I believe, the concept of passion, which is to go out and go after and do something that makes a difference in the world, that makes the world better outside of your immediate family. So your home life, home world is your home base.
Mm-hmm.
You care about that. That's a given.
Mm-hmm.
But when we have our calling, our passion to go and make a difference
Yes.
in the world, it's about outside, it's taking ourselves out of that home base and making a difference in the world that matters.
Wow.
And so passion is what we're willing to cross that I-beam for and go out and make that difference. It's really that strong feeling. And people that know their purpose, they know it without a shadow of a doubt.
And Dr. Cady, I've never thought of purpose that deep before. I mean, always have seen it on the on the surface level of,
Right.
okay, you know what you want out of life.
Right.
But this is deeper than just knowing what you want out of life. Like, oh, I like finance. I think it's something I'm good at.
Right.
But this is more about, it doesn't matter what obstacle, like what risk, you're going after it, no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you make it sound like. So like persons who are like very successful, you could tell that no matter what, they have gotten back up just because they know that this is their purpose.
Right. You know, it's an interesting thing because I think that when your purpose is connected to your passion, which is a meaningful calling to make that difference in the world, and you're able to translate that into a career,
Yes.
then you're going to find what I refer to as professional joy,
Wow.
like joy in living your profession.
Mm-hmm.
And when your calling is connected to that and you're on purpose with that. So the key thing is that in that purpose, you can get through anything if you are clear and connected with your purpose to your passion. Because some people have a purpose that's not connected to their passion, but it's connected to making money only. And so the problem with that is you can make some money, but at the end of the day, you may not be as resilient and as willing to work as hard and stick with it and go after things as a person who's truly passionate. So if you're competing with somebody passionate about what they want to do with their life and they're following their career and you are doing it to make some money, this person's going to beat you every day. Okay? Because your passion for money without purpose and a purpose to make money without connection to passion, you're not going to be able to overcome the hardships.
Yes.
And so there's some really good research. It's been around forever. There's one book called Man's Search for Meaning, and it was conducted in Nazi war camps. And these are people who are in the worst condition you could ever imagine.
Wow.
And he was a physician, and he's trying to save people's lives.
Yes.
And people are dying that are completely healthy. And people are living that are completely unhealthy, that are hurt, whatever might be going on with them health-wise. And they're making it, they're living. And the only thing he figured out that was different between the two groups, people imagine a person completely healthy in the camp dies, but a person struggling lives.
Oh my goodness.
What is the difference between the two?
Yeah.
The only difference he found was that they had something to live for.
Oh.
They had that purpose that was connected to their passion, which led to a whole field of psychology coming out of it. So it is essentially the fundamental, but the key thing is the purpose has to be connected to passion in order for a person to be resilient in going after the dream. And a lot of your audience, your intention, if I understand, is to inspire people who are trying to get out of maybe difficult or challenging situations to improve their life and move to the next level.
Yes.
Everybody can do that.
Yeah.
Everybody can do it, no matter what condition they're in. The key thing is you want to give them hope, and hope will come through them knowing that they have a calling and that it's worth something to them. It matters. That thing that they care about, that difference that they want to make in the world matters. And there's a way to live it professionally. Yeah. That's the key. There is. They just got to stay true to that passion that they have.
Wow, that's beautiful, Dr. Cady. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Dr. Cady, let's talk about ego, because in the workplace, ego might be the biggest leadership pandemic we don't discuss. And how does leaders move from ego-driven performance to more purpose-driven impact, in your opinion?
Yeah. Well, ego we all have an ego.
Mhm.
So it's just, do we have a healthy and well-developed ego? Because or do we have, a dysfunctional,
Immature.
underdeveloped, wounded? So a lot of the people that you're speaking with have been through so much. You're trying to inspire people that have had a lot of challenges. Am I right?
Yes.
You're reaching.
Yes.
And every single person has a gift and has something to offer. However, sometimes people who have been wounded and betrayed and maybe haven't had the best conditions growing up and haven't had the kind of role models and stuff like that, those people that are struggling with that, they are just as capable as anybody else of achieving their dreams.
Yes.
Very, very. However, they've got to do some healing work on their ego, right? They got to do ego healing work and work on that to help them get to a balanced place where they can take care of them. They know, I can take care of me.
Yes.
Right? When I know I can take care of me, this is a healthy ego, and I can set boundaries and I can set goals, then my ego is developing in a healthy way, but I might have to do some healing work. So if I'm wounded, and I have been, and I had to do a lot of work to get over things to help me get to be more successful and to achieve my goals. But I had to really do a lot of personal work. Now, you don't have to be perfect to be successful and happy. You just need to be committed to it. Okay, so a commitment to being healthy, having a healthy ego, having a healthy balance, and be living on purpose. A commitment to that, and is the key. So when you think about ego-driven leaders, you're talking about, I think, leaders who have wounded or dysfunctional egos that are acting out and triggered and using their power to push people down or not being willing to share. You've talked about abundance versus scarcity and those kinds of things. Well, when you think about leaders like that, first and foremost, you got to change the world by starting with yourself. Work on yourself. Be the best version of yourself that you can be. Don't worry about that leader. Second, if you have to work for a leader to pay some bills, just be mindful that you might need to shield yourself from them and use friends and your community of support, your spiritual practice, all of those things to help shield you from that so you can stay in a place of grace, stay in a place of strength in the midst of working for a leader whose ego is unchecked. Right? So if you do that, if you really pay attention when you're in those difficult situations, you'll find little nuggets, little pebbles, little opportunities, little flowers, little things that will be there that will help you be ready for when you are free to really go after it.
Yes.
So you want to use the experience you just say, okay, what is the opportunity in this crappy situation that I'm in with this unhinged leader whose ego is out of check? How do I turn this situation into something that I don't have an answer, just have a question?
Exactly.
Say, I want to have, that's what I want. I want to make this the best I can. And at some point, you have to say, when do I get out of it?
Yes.
There's a thing called learned helplessness, which is when people are in noxious or bad situations, and when the opportunity comes for them to change it or improve their situation, they don't even see the opportunity.
Yes.
So there's a thing called battered women syndrome. And what happens in those situations, for example, the police will show up and they'll say, hey, I'm here. We're here. You can be safe. We can take care of you. And you don't even see the police as an opportunity to help give you safety. Or someone comes and says, you can come here and we can protect you. We can take you into this place here. They don't even see the opportunity as an opportunity. And that's learned helplessness. It's when the opportunity to improve your life shows up, you don't even see it as an opportunity. And around a lot of people that are doing this ego work internally, they're in and around with other people who may have unchecked egos, and in those toxic situations, they may not see the opportunity to leave that situation when they should leave it. So sometimes it's not about staying in it. Sometimes it's about, I got to get out of here.
Get out. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And sometimes you have to get out so that a door, so the door will open or a window will open. When you close a door, a window opens, kind of thing. You want to get out of it so that you have room to. You need to give an opportunity for something better to show up. So it's like in dating or marriage. if you're with someone who's really bad and that person stays in your life, you haven't made room for the right person to show up,
Mm,
right? So you have to sometimes, you can't go from one person to the next. Sometimes you have to leave a bad situation,
yes.
leave a toxic person, and allow
Room
space
for the right one.
to come in.
Yes.
Right? So that's what I would say about leaders with their egos unchecked.
Very good point. Very good point, Dr. Cady. So, as a young professional, I felt the pressure to prove myself through titles, degrees, and salary brackets. What are some things early career leaders need to unlearn to have more of a meaningful career to you?
One, it goes back to the question. Always ask if you want to know what is my purpose and what am I supposed to do that's meaningful, and how can I pursue that in a way that allows me to achieve my goals, to make more money, to win awards, or to achieve some of these accomplishments. But the accomplishments aren't the focus. The primary focus is making that difference. I want to make a difference and be successful, but those things are not the primary request that you're making. You just ask the question, how can I pursue my dream and achieve success in doing it?
Okay.
Right? So just ask the question. And I honestly have found that most people don't want to ask the question. That's the thing. You really want to know the answer to what you need to do to follow your dream.
Yes. And Dr. Cady, just to add on that, I know that you teach a person should focus less on their status and more about the value that they add to the world.
So the value that they add is that living my passion, living my calling is about going out and making a difference that matters in the world.
Yes.
A difference that matters to others and to me.
Mm-hmm.
So like a moment, if you think about a moment when you felt you mattered in your work,
Yes.
right? If anybody takes a moment to just think about take a minute to think about a moment where they felt they mattered. Underneath that is that deeper purpose that is connected to passion. And you'll be doing that. Now, image first, that second, that's when you got to do the healing work, because I think the ego is unchecked inside.
Yes.
Because I think my image is more important than me making a difference. But if you take care of that, the image takes care of itself.
Makes sense.
Right? Yeah, I was talking with a gentleman in Uganda, and I call him the reluctant king. He was a chief of his tribe there, and I had been interested in talking to leaders in Africa. And in talking with him, the person that brought me and was hosting me said, could you please talk with him about his life and what he's doing, because it seems like he's just lost. He's lost his meaning. And I sat down with him. His name was Quasi, and I said, Quasi, so tell me about a moment when you felt you mattered. And he said, this morning. And I said, really, guys, 5 o'clock. I was driving somebody to the UN, and as I was driving them, a dog ran out in front of me. And I said, okay. And what I've learned is that a person's clue to what their purpose is and what they need to follow, that clue is not for me to decide what moment you felt you mattered is worth it or not.
Yes.
When you ask a person, a moment when you felt you mattered, his moment was when that dog ran up and I said, you didn't hit it. He goes, no. I said, okay, so what happened? He goes, I saved its life. And I said, so you saved its life. And he's serious. Now think about it. He's like, I saved its life. So I said, Quasi, so you save lives. How do you save lives? And he said, well, I left my village. I'm here in Kampala. And a lot of children are homeless. A lot of people need me. So they come to me and I help them find homes. I help them find food and shelter. My village calls me and my tribe calls me and they ask me about food and cattle because my younger brother is the chief. I left to make money.
Yes.
He left his village because he could make money driving cars and fixing cars. He's really smart mechanically and driving people around to the airport for the UN. So he left his village to come do something to make money.
Wow.
Right? So then I'm asking him, and he says, I save lives. And the children and people call me, and my village calls me still because I'm the oldest, and so forth. I said, so what are you doing?
Yes.
And he says, I'm sharing my life. And so I said, Quasi, so you save lives through sharing your life. And this big, strong, kingly man got really small. And he looked down and he just sat there. And I said, well, Quasi, say that. Say, I save lives through sharing my life. He said, I can't do it. He said, I can't. I said, try it. He says, I save lives through sharing my life. I said, say it louder. I save lives through sharing my life. And he just began to cry. And so we all cried. And after we kind of got collected and so forth, he stopped and he says, you know, I teach my children to not deny who they are.
Oh my goodness.
I know what I need to do.
Beautiful.
Right?
Wow, that's a really powerful story.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Cady, your work blends research, storytelling, technology, and community, from Nexus for Change to My Library Publishing. What role does collaboration play in shaping the future in leadership?
It is the only reason for leadership. If we weren't together, there'd be no need for leadership. We'd all be alone. So people are always together. So no matter what you do in life, you are two or more people are together having to figure something out. Otherwise, we'd all be on our own little islands, lonely in our rooms. Like, if we're not careful with technology, right?
Yes.
We'll all be stuck in our phones and disconnected from each other. But that's not going to work because people have a human need. We are designed for two things. We are designed to suffer, and we are designed to be together. Suffering is the root meaning of passion is to suffer. So if you're living your passion, you are willing to suffer in service of doing something you love. Suffering is not bad. A good workout, sore muscles, right? You like a good workout. And when you're working out, it's like, what the heck, right? I want to sweating and I want to have a hard workout. But if you can view your passion as something that's hard, as struggle, we are meant to struggle as human beings.
Yes.
And we're meant to find the joy in the struggle.
Yeah.
And if you don't have purpose, the struggle doesn't make any sense. Right? So when you have purpose, like we talked about at the very beginning, the struggle then becomes worthwhile. And then you're willing to be resilient to that.
That makes sense. That makes so much sense. So, Dr. Cady, for individuals who feel stuck in work that pays the bills but isn't aligned with their purpose, what is the first step you would recommend for them to recenter their career around more meaning?
Yeah. So I've said it a little earlier, and that is you just have to ask the question. It's as simple as that. The first step is, I want to live my purpose meaningfully in my career. Universe, God, what is that? Help me uncover that. Ask the question honestly from your heart, and it unlocks things in ways that you will be so surprised. It's really that simple. It's really that simple.
I agree with that.
Now, what you do with it, that's where I have a framework that I have that's called the 7 Ways of the Passionate Soul. And so there are 7 ways. And so once you find that, what do you do subsequently? So like the first way is around finding purpose. But what happens next and next and next and next?
So, Dr. Cady, how can people, get access to that 7 ways? Because you mentioned that you.
So I have an article, I have a DVD, which is going to be a video, which will be on the publishing platform I have. It's called it's going to be called wordspub.com. Wordspub, not my library. We're changing it.
Okay.
And we're changing the name and reframing it. And it's coming out so that people can publish their ideas and stuff on there. So it'll be on there. You can find it on my website and those kinds of things. And I have articles. I'd be glad to share an article that I wrote a long time ago on the concept.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's good. How do you stay grounded in your personal purpose while navigating institution, change, and environment where ego and power dynamic are present?
I think it goes back. I think we have to pause and slow down.
Mhm.
I think we have to reflect. I think it's important to touch lives, doing what I'm passionate about, see the meaning in my work. Try not to be too busy, but busy being busy as
Yes.
opposed to really connecting with that person. So if I asked you, think about a moment when you felt you mattered in doing what you're passionate about. Think about that moment. Every time you reflect on that moment where you were making a difference, it has a physiological impact on you. It actually changes your immune system, makes it stronger. There's the Mother Teresa effect and the helper's high is what it's called. And these are two concepts that refer to the fact that when you're living your calling and making a difference, it literally physiologically, and then when you reflect back on it, so a month later, you reflect back on it. And so a month later, you reflect back on that moment, and you still have the same positive effect as if you were doing it and living your calling, making that difference. The key is you're making a difference that makes a difference in the living world. It makes a difference in life.
Okay.
So when you see what you're doing making a difference in life, that's what will bring that to you. So I think living our purpose, touching people's lives, touching life and making it better. Because some people may have a passion for animals or other plants or whatever it might be. It's touching life in a way that makes it better. Just do that. Slow down. Take time to notice. Be with other people that are like-minded.
Yes.
You have to sometimes put your armor on and go out and help people that aren't. But you need to have a home base and people and things like that can be there for you.
That makes sense. Dr. Cady, what is one misconception people will have about leadership? And what is one truth that you wish they could have embraced?
I think people judge leaders. Misconception is how we judge leaders, and leaders have to have all the answers. And they have to be the one to rescue. Leadership is not about that. I think leadership is about utilizing the power you have to enable others to become their best selves. You can listen to any leader. I just was listening to a recent football game, and they were talking to the coach about winning the championship. They won the championship. He goes, that doesn't matter. They were like, what do you mean? That doesn't, you just won it. What's higher or better than that? He goes, all that matters to me is that we are able to change these players' lives, help them become better young men.
Yes.
And so he was clear about why he was doing what he was doing. He was about making that difference.
Yes.
I think the misperception is that the leaders have to achieve the accolades, but I think that's a misperception. Now, what's the truth? It comes back to purpose and passion, following your calling and living your passion in a meaningful way. And when you have power, doing it in a way that helps people better come together. The ultimate role of a leader is to create conditions for people to better love each other and love themselves in service of doing something that makes a difference. And that's where collaboration comes in, because you have to help and masterfully bring people together to be in that place.
I love that because I think, chasing validation, it makes you be loud, but living in your purpose makes you be heard. I wanted to ask you this last question.
Yeah.
How do you define power moves, Dr. Cady?
When I think of power moves, I think of a lot of things. I think power moves things. Right? So if we're coming from a place of our power and our strength, which is our best and higher self, so it's not about being more powerful than others. It's about my power enables me to move things, to make things happen. I think power moves are maybe actions we take that are a movement. I do something, and it's a movement that comes out of my inner power, my inner strength, and I am making action or taking action. So it's movement from my power. So it's making, so it's power moves, and then power moves things.
That makes sense. Wow. Thank you, Dr. Cady. So what I'm basically picking up from this conversation is that success without purpose is just motion. Leadership isn't a title, it's a responsibility. And transformation doesn't start with strategy, it starts with shifting in identity. Okay?
Yeah.
Well, this has been amazing, and huge thanks, Dr. Cady, for coming on the show. And you are obviously a brilliant mind, but I just love that you are so bold, in challenging leadership and what it means and what you want others to embrace in the world. For everyone that is listening, until next time, keep making power moves.